Hi, viewers. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Congratulations to you, Leadership Mapoulo and the Leadership Collective. You have been appointed as the chairperson of EFF in Limpopo. Congratulations are in order.
Thank you very much. I'm humbled by the appointment, and I hope we'll lead this big organization with dignity it deserves.
And just this week, on Wednesday, the President of South Africa has been sworn in by Chief Justice Raymond Zondo at the Union Buildings. Cyril Ramaphosa is coming back for the second term, if I'm not mistaken. What's your take on his inauguration?
No, you see, let me start by saying Cyril, from his background, was never a revolutionary. And I think the second term that he will be getting into is the final nail on the ANC. He was sent to kill the ANC. And currently he's looking to kill any other revolutionary movement in the country. He has done. They're going to give him what we call in my own language, petayata, or you have worked. You have delivered
by selling out.
By selling out. I see nothing. I just see a government of national U-turn, and that is all. And our people are still going to suffer. Our people doesn't listen. The EFF president have said it many times that people don't listen. And now the coming term, it is bad. The monopoly capital will be playing with the minds and heart of our people. And really we feel sorry. I'm saddened because the liberation that was waged by Solomon Mahlangu, and many who died in the line of duty to fight for this country, for the land. Unfortunately, really, their families are still crying to say they fought for nothing, and because of Cyril Ramaphosa.
In fact, all the revolutionaries and freedom fighters might be turning in their graves now, saying this so-called GNU, which seeks to reverse all the gains of the hard-fought democracy.
Fortunately enough, we are still alive, the majority of us. We know where we are coming from.
Yeah.
You know, you look at...
So you're one of those who will be spitting in the graves of these sellouts.
They're a sellout, to be honest. We have seen them when they came in to the movement of the ANC. And we realized that this movement is going to die very fast. And there are many. It's not only one.
Yeah.
They've been deployed by monopoly capital. They've been trained by the monopoly capital. You know, they are very eloquent in terms of presentation of issues. You know, they've been trained to kill this liberation movement, the ANC. The ANC will never be the same again, starting from now. Believe me, come next election, those that are still there, they're wasting their time. Their home is in the EFF. They must never panic. We are here waiting for them, especially those that are in Limpopo. Others, they've been calling me, to be honest. They see that this thing is dying. Real revolutionaries, they understand the strategy and tactics and the motive forces of the left. What is their duty? What was supposed the ANC to be doing currently? Unfortunately, those the forces of the left have been left stranded in the wild by the ANC. You know, if Kusatu, they were real, they were supposed just to move out of the alliance with the ANC and look for the party which pushes the demands and the aspiration of the workers. That's the only one. That's the EFF. And you know, I don't know as to whether I can call it greed or not to be wanting to be led, but there's nothing. If they can come to the movement, the EFF, we'll join hands and we'll work together very well than the sellout of the ANC. Remember, you know, today we are seated here. Those workers in Nihau, when they march, I don't know what they are marching for, because the previous years, they never even received a cent, an increment. Today, when we go to Parliament, Cyril Ramaphosa have increased the salaries of those that are in government. Now, what about
they're obsessed with the packs.
They are nice now, including ourselves. But we can't encourage that. The reason why the EFF was saying we must do away with these provinces. We are wasting money. Yes, and I think the current situation in the country, presenter, it's shocking, and nobody will realize up until Ramaphosa move out of South Africa to go and stay in London. He's having a physical address in London when things are bad. Already Rupert and the others, their children are not staying here. They're offshore because they don't belong here. Now, therefore, I think even their child will follow them when things are going to be bad. Because things are going to be bad. It's them who pushes the situation to be like that because they want to steal more. Because they know during the wars and civil wars, they've got a capacity to steal more. Now, we must avoid it. As the EFF, the reason you learned how the president was presenting our way forward, to say we must be seen as people who think for the people, not to put or plug our country into chaos. We are going to act in a very responsible manner because that's the only hope of our people, the EFF.
So you reckon even the tripartite alliance is complicit in the selling out process, even the working class?
South African Communist Party.
You
look at their caps. This side is Communist Party, this side is ANC. It tells you that even their minds is divided. They don't know where they are going. There's no Communist Party in the ANC. They're just a bunch of thugs and those that are looking for work. That's nothing that they're doing. That's nothing that they want. Now, you see, I was telling people that take it from us. We worked more than 30-something years working in the ANC, 40 years plus as an activist. You are not going to tell us that we don't know anything about the politics of South Africa. The ANC is finished, as I speak right now, getting into bed with those monopoly capital. Remember that even at the beginning of the talks in 1980s, the talks about talks, the base of those talks about talks is not politicians. There were big five companies here who went to Lusaka. I never heard one day saying Koronov, Buota during that time went to Lusaka. Uwar Tambo met with business people. And when Uwar Tambo is meeting with those business people, his lieutenant, they're looking at the backs of those people because they are rich, they are millionaire. When the meeting closed, the poor old man, he thinks that he has said something substance. Those that were following him, they opened the backs of those rich people. There's no revolution. Now we have been bought. This freedom that we are enjoying today have been bought by monopoly capital. We're not enjoying something that emerges from political engagement with the enemy of the past. The enemy of the past was the politicians, was not these Oppenheimers who are currently leading this country through Ramaphosa.
You're talking about thuggery, and we understand that in 1913, the majority of the black population were dispossessed of their land. And just this week, it marked 111 years of land dispossession. And you find a situation where the ANC is still in bed with the DA, which hold a different ideology, by the way, that does not support, for an example, land expropriation without a compensation. This must be shameful.
My heart goes to all the chiefs, the kings, the queens of our country. Remember, the kings and queens and chiefs of our country, some of their heads are still lying in London in the museums. They don't like to bring those hairs back because for them, it's a victory to say they've taken the land. Now, therefore, I think the ANC must think deeply. When I speak about the heads of our kings and chiefs, they were not just, unplugged. They were cut with a sword. They were taken offshore to London to stay in their museums. Now, I'm trying to think about this 111 years as to whether it's clicking in the minds of those that are leading the ANC. I'm saying it openly here. We are led by thugs, we are led by opportunistic elements who are brought by monopoly capital.
Who have lost their political consciousness.
It's long gone. It's long gone. From 1980s, 1989, it started to fade away. During 1996, class project started to take a play in the movement. There's no more ANC people. You're wasting your time. Join the forces with the EFF. That's the only hope of people of South Africa.
The newly elected premier, the first female premier of Limpopo, Dr. Popera Matuba, has assembled a team of her executive, the members of the executive council. and who are expected to lead the province of Limpopo. Do you have any confidence at all in the new executive?
You know, I'm always referring to my own language, idiomatic expressions. You see, while once bitten,
Yeah.
once shy.
Once shy, sure.
Now, let's look. It's not me, but let's look at the track record of the one who's becoming the premier today. Go to hospitals, go to clinics, look inside those clinics, look at the staff component as to whether it's safe or not. It's not me. It's the people of Limpopo who are worried about the clinics, the facilities in hospitals, no medication. Just recently, yesterday, that department killed a young child. That child, she's still alive. But they went out to the family of that young child and say, your child is dead. And later on they come back, no, your child is not dead. Now, it's not me. I'm not trying to paint Dr. Ramatuba or whatever in a bad pain. No. Those are things that is just a tip of an iceberg. Now remember, how many families have been told that their children or their kids or their infants has died?
No ethical behavior, no moral
traumatic
compass.
Situation that the family find itself in. Tell me that what she's migrating rubbish into the premier's office because he failed to clean that rubbish in the Department of Health. Now, because she didn't finish, she's carrying a baggage to that office. And again, she's surrounded. She's surrounded by men. One man is just a heel in that morning. He can't move. He's still issuing out orders. The reason, you see, I'm saying, hey, these guys of the ANC, you'll see them. They're not going to govern. Never. They'll be locked up in their squabbles and cabal politics. You can look at their deployment. It doesn't appease anybody. You look, most of the department, like Public Works Department, you must give it to a man, real man who can understand and a visionary leader. Now, you see, I don't say people are young. They're young in terms of thinking. You can be a young boy of 15 years, but with a mind of 50 years, man. But now I've seen a young man with a mind of a toddler. Now, I don't think we're going to be led. I don't believe that. And I don't, prophesy that they must mislead the people of Limpopo, but I'm praying for them just to have a Holy Spirit and lead accordingly because what we need is land. What we need is flashing toilets.
Absolutely.
What we need 24 hours clinic services. We need our nurses to be safe in those clinics. We need to make sure that they don't interfere in the issues of Magoshi, especially during this time when young men and women are going to the mountains. They must never interfere. I've seen them interfering in that area where I think a man should go through manhood. Unfortunately, they're interfering. The department cooks must leave that space for the chiefs and our doctors and the Department of Health.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good news is that the EFF is the official opposition in Limpopo, and definitely with your leadership, I hope that you're going to hold them into account and to ensure that there is progress in that part of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Titus Tsungo Erkodzera Nsengo Natswaleka. We're coming to you from Winnie Madikizela Mandela House. Today I'm joined by the Limpopo Provincial Chairperson, Commissar Lawrence Mapoulo is here with me. A very good morning to you and welcome to the EFF podcast.
No, good day, and thank you very much for all the fighters out there and all those that are aspiring to come and join the EFF. The gates are open, double doors are open, come in your numbers. The president needs you. And he loves you.
Yeah, and I see in your face the enthusiasm to serve the people of Limpopo, and the people of Limpopo are waiting to hear what is the plan of action going forward. But now let's start here, Mr. Mapoulo, Commissar Mapoulo. You have recently been appointed as the chairperson to steer the ship of EFF Limpopo together with the leadership collective. Congratulations to you once more. How do you feel about this appointment?
one is really humbled by the leadership of the movement, by appointing me together with the collective, because why I'm humbled? Because of the ideas of these organizations. The ideas of this organization are the only ideas that really give direction of where will we take the orphans, the widows, and the downtrodden of South African people and Africa in general. The reason why, indeed, I'm humbled is that I'm led by the leadership with clarity. Thanks.
No, congratulations once again. And perhaps let's just reflect on your childhood. People are wondering, where do you come from? What kind of upbringing you have had? And who actually raised this sharp politician called Lawrence Mapoulo?
It's quite interesting. You take me back to 63 years. Indeed, I'm born in an area called Blouberg, Malebo.
Okay.
It's about 140-something km.
It's in the Capricorn district, right?
It's in the Capricorn district municipality. And I was born by a man and a woman who believed in God. My father, the late father, and my late mom were very much, indebted in Christianity.
May their souls rest in peace.
Indeed, let them soul rest in peace. And now, during my upbringing, I was the third boy in the family.
Yeah.
My firstborn brother is late now. But the way I was raised from a very poor family. My father was working as a laborer, and my mom, she was from Botswana. Unfortunately, she was not allowed to work in the country. If you can see...
In the apartheid days?
In the apartheid days, yeah. My mom spent nearly the rest of her life not working and not allowed to work in South Africa because she was not allowed to carry that dompas in the past. That generated low life in the family. And indeed, we started to understand after my mom, she was denied even work. When we moved from Ramalabo, we came to the township in 1965. I think around 11 February is when we came to the township of Sesheo. But before I came to Sesheo, I was still young at the age of 4. And I wanted to go to school during that time. Okay. The reason was that my big brother, late brother, was always, when coming back from school, say, we enjoy soup at school. Okay.
And Seshego, by the way, is one of the largest towns.
But that time we have not yet went to Seshego.
Oh, okay.
We're still at the village of Malebo.
Malebo, yeah.
Now, at the age of 4, my brother was always enticing me. Hey, it's nice at school. Okay. Then I started to follow them. One day I said, when they go out, my mom, she was busy with her singer machine. I followed them. I followed them when they get into their classes. I thought sometime immediately when they get to school, they give them soup. Sure. Now they go to classes.
First.
Now I'm waiting, I'm looking around. Where do I go now? The principal of school was saying, short young man moving around. What's happening? What do you want here? I said, I wanted to go into the class. He said, there you go home. It was the first time when I started to throw stones. I throw stones at him up until they catch me, take me back home. Yeah. And I explain why I wanted to go to school. It's because of that soup. Yeah, because at home it was not there. Yeah. And the only opportunity for me to get that soup is to go to school. Okay. Now we went to Shell in 1969 now. What attracted me now? At that, I was still young, at the age of 10. Remember, in 1969, when the Bantustan were created, it was Patudis, it was Mangopes, Nsangwisis, it was Teles, Kosos, and others. By that time, my mom, she didn't even get that ID or Dompas. Now, when they went to celebrate the inauguration of the prime ministers, my mom didn't like to go there. Only my father went. And my mom explained why she can't go there.
Okay.
Because we are struggling at home. She can't work for me and get me nice things because of this government. And I started to hate. I started to hate what was happening during that time. I grew at the age of 15, when we went to Mutlagane. we were still young at that time, 1976. But it's us who instigated that there must be a riot in Mutlagane. How did it happen? Because we were very much inspired.
So while there were riots here in Soweto, even Sishiro as well was plugging in.
Yeah, you know how it plugged in? We were reading the newspaper called The World.
Oh.
Renaga Bantu educated the world.
Yeah, The World.
Yeah. Then, when it was read on the 16th in Soweto, it will come to on the 17th, the following day. Then, after reading that newspaper, we went out to the school and started to do what we have done during that time. We banned some of the classrooms and all that. Fortunately enough, I was not arrested. The one who was arrested is because he was light in complexion. He was like me.
Yeah.
They arrested the son of a policeman.
Okay.
And I was made that favor was done through my father to say we are not going to arrest. We arrest that one, the son of a big policeman in the station. And even today, still alive, he still reminds me of that part. Those are things that attracted me, especially my mom, to say we are not going to entertain anything coming from this government. And even today, I'm still there. I'll live like that to say.
Were you also against the Africans as the medium of instruction?
Yeah, during that time. Feveskende, and the Popejanes,
yeah.
That recitas in Africans, mathematics in Africans, that's Veskende. It was tough.
And by the way, you were forced to learn Afrikaans.
We were forced to learn Afrikaans in any way. There was nothing you can do. And I think, above all, my political life started to grow when I went to a TVET college. Then I was the senior student, senior prefect. I was appointed to be the prefect. And by that time, the BSCs were believing in BCM, the ASAPO, BICO mentality, black consciousness. Were glued to that by that time, and I led the school in making sure that our domestic areas are well and everything. I was fired at the end of the day from that school, but after I've completed my course, and they fired me to say they don't like to see me there, up until I came back and worked to the company that took me to school. Unfortunately, I didn't work long with it because of my beliefs. This thing of calling people boss and all that, I was forced to call people boss, and I didn't like to do that.
Yeah.
Because,
you view that as oppression,
it started in Rosebank. I was scared because when I was in Rosebank, when the police came asking for pass, they won't ask me because of the color of my skin. They thought I'm a colored. You see, and now those things started to show me that, man, the life in South Africa is not good.
Yeah.
My same brother that I'm working with, he'd been arrested because he didn't bring his in Rosebank. I pass and go home.
Yeah.
And it tells you a story about
this thing's Animal Farm.
Now, every time those things, when they come to my mind, they propel me to continue to be against the white man. By then, indeed, I didn't like the white man. I need to say it clear. But today, yes, because of the men who are not liberal, but who are clear and in understanding that this land doesn't belong to a white man. Those are whites that I like, who speak the truth. That's the voice of reason amongst the white community that we must respect. Those that they know that their fathers have raped their mothers in 1913. Those are horrible things that happened. In Kokstad, women were put in a prison, and they were not guarded by women. They were guarded by long young men of Afrikaner speaking, and they were molesting, raping our mothers in those prisons. The reason why it's tough for us to go back and say we can even say sorry. Yes, as people who believe in God, we can say sorry, but we can't forget the reason why even when Ramaphosa drag our people to go in bed with the Broederbond, we get angry because we know where we are coming from. We know how our people have suffered. People have been killed in Hoosprey, the farms of Hoosprey. Many people were never buried. They were eaten by lions. But we seem to forget where we're coming from. We don't say as the EFF we hate white people, but this white supremacy must come to an end. And I think if we are not careful, this Ramaphosa is not a black person.
Yeah, man.
I know really, he can be black in terms when you look at him. But you can
he's a black man trapped in white skin.
He's training like more than even 2000. If you can hear singers speaking English, you know, right?
You'll be lost.
You'll be lost.
Yeah.
He speaks English more than anybody. And you see. Now, that man really is taking this country to a dustbin. And if people are not going to be alive come 2026, the EFF must go to the ground and make sure that it salvages the people of South Africa.
Yeah, and perhaps let's just look at your political journey, your political consciousness. You were part of the ANC. You held various positions of power in the ANC. But when you look at the ANC then and now, what conclusions would you make? And what drew you, in fact, into the politics of the ANC at the time?
As young as we were during that time, every young man in South Africa, really, it was just automatic to belong to a struggle. It was not so easy for you to be recruited because of the material conditions which are prevailing. They force
maybe
you.
The name was so fascinating, African. You thought maybe it's representing African. Yeah.
But we joined this movement and were given responsibilities. Myself, I've been the chairperson of the region for 3 times. And I became the mayor at the age of 32, the first black mayor. And later I became, in 2010, I became the executive mayor of Capricorn. And I think my footprints are clear. I'm still alive. I can look at them and smile. During my term as chairperson of the region, they will tell you always there will be activities, no political lull in my leadership, to be honest with you. And when you go to the municipalities, my administration style is very clear. You must attract competent and qualified people who will be able to deliver, and also make sure that corruption must never have any place. In all the municipalities that I served, I've never received anything less than qualified, unqualified clean audit until I left. I've left the footprints which everyone can fit into. As a leader myself, I'm not proud of myself. They're there. If you need to go and check, everything is still there. I'm still alive to come and be accountable for anything. Yeah.
And that is the Polokwane municipality and
That's
the Capricorn
Polokwane
district municipality.
and Capricorn, both the local and the district. Yep. Meaning I've been traveling, ascending very well. I didn't jump to the province. I started local, district. Now we are at the level of the legislature.
Do you have any regrets ever joining the ANC?
Yes, I would say, because you see, look, we speak about the people because the ANC was leading the people. I'm very sorry, seated here, because the things that we promised our people to date, nothing. The only thing that I see is the number of men in South Africa who are hobos, is the number of young men and women who are addicted to drugs and abusing alcohol. When I look at the women of South Africa, I see depressed women of South Africa. And why I don't have any reason to cherish the moment when I joined the ANC. Because when I joined the ANC, I was expecting that the men of South Africa will be like the real men who are said by God in the Bible, to say this will be the heads of the family. But the ANC have reduced the men of South Africa into hobos. The ANC have reduced the youth of South Africa as drunkard. The youth, the ANC government have reduced women of South Africa into depressed women. Now, therefore, I don't have any reason to jubilate and say, hey, there's nothing. People have died with depression, inclusive of those that have led the same organization. They're depressed because of the kind of leadership in office. You see, all the things started to deviate from 2011. When the president of the EFF was fired, he was fired because of the same preaching and what is advocating currently. In the ANC have done that. Together with Nyegos Floyd, the president. They were fired because of that. And they were saving the ANC. If the ANC by then did listen to the young lions in 2011, through the leadership of the President Malema, they were going to save South Africa. The ANC was going to be saved by then, not now. Now it's dead. No one can save it. Even the monopoly capital, they want it dead. That's what Helen Zille want. Those that are in the ANC, they know that Helen Zille, if you meet with her, you're dead. This is not Nationalist Party. It's not the earlier floor crossing arrangement. No. This time, we are burying the ANC. That's what the monopoly capital is saying. And I think people must start to smell the coffee and study the politics of the country and choose and align themselves properly. Because if they're not going to align them properly now, we're going back to the bad days. Yep.
You talked about growing up in Bloemberg and later on living in Seshego. Seshego, we know that's where the CIC and president of the EFF, Julius Malema, comes from. How do you relate to him and how did you come to know of him and how can you describe your relationship with him?
Like I said, you know, as a young man in the village, in the township, you are driven by the material condition to become a struggle hero. You know, how I met the president, I was an organizer of the ANC. Every time when I moved my buggy of the movement out of the yard, I'll find a group of young men waiting for me.
Okay.
And always he will be there. Always without fail, he will be there. Now life goes on. I was saving the late Willie, who was always being on the front seat. And now the president, young as he was always watching him going front seat. Started to say, this man can't always be at the front seat, man. Even ourselves must be part of that. Now, he posted, he said something so that Willie can get angry, the late. He said, hey, I'm Mrs. Man. Always that one cried. Because they wanted to be part of the leadership in front. But I'm speaking about somebody whom, when we were going out, you know, unfortunately, I'll say it, I don't know, it was a punishment or what is a form of making them to be disciplined. You know, when leadership speaks, they must stand attention.
Okay.
Either I speak 3 hours, they will stay like that.
Militant.
That is what he was taught. And I started to see that thing, the discipline, the everything in my president now. To say, indeed, Abu Peter Abu Kawa, Abu Mama Winnie, Abu Castle Matal, and Abu Mapoulo and the rest have grown a real leader. Now, that's when I met him at a young age, the age of 9. I didn't meet him today, and I started to see leader. You know, the ANC, when they disbanded the Youth League, they said he must never be appointed or be nominated. Because by then I was still the chairperson of the ANC. I said, no, you're going to nominate him. I was going against the grains of the leadership. And he was part of the PEC. Later on, we were disbanded because of those things. But we never lost touch with him. Never lost touch with him. You know, we are now like a family. You can see how he lives with all members of the EFF. That's the style of leadership. When he is with you, you are part of his family. And that I believe in it. You have seen him live. And people, if there doesn't believe in that, I don't know where they will live. Because President is a son of the soil. And if you look how he was raised,
Yeah.
the reason why he embraced everybody is only the son. And that thing have built him where he is today. And I'm proud myself. And I say, even the time when I joined the EFF, I was supposed to be joining it long ago.
Okay.
But you see, I wanted just to understand where I'm going. Before I came into the EFF, I just came in. I made it sure that I go through all the policies and other issues to make sure that when I learned very well. And again, I never left the ANC as if I'm hating people. Before I left, I have delivered a branch to become, and I delivered a councillor. Right, I'm the first. Even the ANC never said it. I was the first to win a award in town, in the whole of the province. And as I speak right now, yes, Mene Tegel, that branch will belong to EFF. Busy now on the ground to make sure that we take over. That's what I've done before I leave. Before I left them, I didn't like Baraka Sesotho, Arinye Lididiba. I left them very well. After 3 months, then I left. Now I've started a new life. I'm very much fulfilled, especially with the ideas of the organization. Yep.
Are you proud of the leadership or the leader that CIC has become? And would you confidently say, without fear or favor, that you have politically groomed him or contributed towards his political consciousness?
The president is the son of many revolutionaries and visionary leaders. You know, when you look at him, when he speaks, there are many people coming out of him. You can see that was a person who was listening. To date, when he, at the age of 43, you can think that he's been in politics for more than 60 years. The level of his thinking, the level of articulation of issues, the analysis of issues, I shame. No, he doesn't study it now.
Yeah.
He was young.
He always says that he's got an experience of a 6-year-old.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I can believe that because, you know, he became the president at a young age. When he was leading COSAS, when he speaks, you can hear that, hey, there. Yeah, really, at that age. Now what? That is Julius Malema for you. And we're saying, you know, people, I don't know, they want God to come to earth and tell them that we've got a leader here. And if people are not going to listen, our God is going to punish people. People are going to be punished because God gave you a leader. You undermine that leader. Now, I'm appealing to the people to say this is the only one, only leader who can lead South Africa and no one else. I don't say I. We have produced an angel for South Africa, and God have given us a son, which I think all of us must agree and give government to him. Then we are free.
So, with that said, what informed your decision to join the EFF? I think it was in 2022 during the disbandment of the structures in Limpopo. So you joined in during the time. That time, I think it was Dr. Mbuiseni Ndlozi was deployed there as the convener. What informed that transition from the ANC to the EFF? Were you realizing that now the ANC is dying and now there's this, you know, economic freedom fighters movement that is on the side of the people, which you believe that you should be part of? What informed your decision or your transition?
There are about 3 areas which I think one will touch. The first one I alluded to say, you know, the ANC have spoken lies for many years. And later, you know, the ANC took, I won't say it's a mistake. They took us to China, you see. And during my stay in 2019 China, you know, we're led by Communist Party of China. Professors is them who have been, you know, workshopping us at that party school and all that. Now, when I came back from China, the Chinese gave us a lot of documents, books, you know, it was in 2019. And remember, by that time, my life was not good in the ANC. Much as I've been taken to China, I've not taken to China by the will of the leadership in the province.
Okay.
There were those that were feeling for me because during that time I was staying at home for more than 5-6 years. Nobody cared where is that first black mayor, where is that exec mayor. Nobody. They left me to die because there, as I know, many mayors died with depression. And I can say it loudly and clear without any fear. The other issue was they pushed me to, because that's why I'm head about the second one. They took me to national office. I was stationed there. Shame, poor people who brought me in. I can't tell their name here.
Okay.
The previous DSG, Mayor Jesse Duarte. May his soul rest in peace. They're the ones who said, I must come near. There are those that I can't say now, they're still alive. Okay. Whether that they can be in problems. Then they took me to Northwest. Stayed in Northwest. During that time, we were not earning. But I didn't have any problem. The majority was us not earning. And then later on, people started to earn. I didn't earn. For the coming 6 months, Ivana, why don't I? But no, your contract might not be renewed. What. Remember, I'm in my VK, 560-something kilometers from my wife, who was in bed with an operation of the spinal cord. I didn't have money to come back home. I have to go and ask money for petrol to come back home.
Ish.
I came back home. I thought when I came back home, they will think about me. Nobody. Nobody. I said, no, fine. Because the literature that they gave me from China prepared me to land very well in the EFF in 2022. I never said anything. I just stayed at my home. I read my books. After reading my books, going around the yard, depressed as I was.
But why though? Why were they putting you such an, why did they let you go through that excruciating pain?
From 2012, when the president of the EFF was expelled, those who were near the president never enjoyed life. Never enjoyed life. Sidelined. From that time, 2012, until when I left in 2022, life was not good for me. And he said it. He said, don't think that they will like you, these people. I said, because of the love of the organization. There was no organization. It was individuals. Then I left and joined this glorious movement with big ideas. And that will save South Africa. And very much comfortable because the kind of politics that we are preaching in the EFF resonate very well with the masses of our people. Yeah. I can see it. The EFF in Limpopo, given a chance now, it will never be Limpopo again because I know where I'm seated now. Yeah. The majority of people, without me calling them, they have already lined up to join the EFF. They've seen that this sellout of Ramaphosa, the ANC, will never rise again.